And we're there. A little bit out of focus. G'day, Andy. Look at that. Doesn't like the exposure. That's no better. Turn the camera down a bit. Stop the light casting. Hi, Tom. Yeah, I managed to surprise me. I was not expecting to find anything particularly cheap, you know, with the fact that obviously it's not cheap to have a pitch at such venue. Particularly since one of the, well, 5 of the items came from Ellis Clark. But let's just say I have acquired some more Hornby MGRs. But I'm knackered walking around all day and sitting around and having the first meet up with Timber Surf and blimey, there's loads. Paul, Sandley Junction, obviously Julian, come over from New Zealand, Al, Smallwood Junction, I think it was, Susanna, obviously Jenny Kirk's down on the KR stand, some other people I sort of knew but don't subscribe to, but you see them on YouTube. So I thought I'd have a quick live one before I go and try and find some dinner from Mackie D's or somewhere. But I think the football is just not long finished, so I think all of the takeaway establishments will probably be quite busy at the minute. I don't know what the meal cost is downstairs, but if the beer was £6.15 a pint, I can only imagine what a hot sandwich is going to cost. And I'm not flush enough to go to Pierre Marco White's restaurant over the other side of the stadium. But we have gained another locomotive from Tony's Trains. Sound fitted. Fuzzy, I'm afraid. Class 47. I bought it because it was petroleum sector. I did get it for 140. So I shall have to get the layout out again there. Try it, but I bought it because it was petroleum sector, and I've been after a petroleum sector locomotive. So that had to be done, really. And I said to him, "Oh, you got Trish on here helping out," and apparently Trish is back in Poland again. So he said, "Oh, I'll let you have it for 140." So we've managed to get one of these, the British Industrial Sands PGA, which are a bit hen's teethy and quite expensive on eBay, but I got it for £6. I don't know whether you can see that. It's whitewashed out for me on the screen. Some MGRs, they were £5 each. Sort of, well, good price actually. I usually pay more than that at the local fairs. Another guy had exactly the same ones for £10. A weathered Gilbert Coke wagon. I don't know whether you can see any of these. No. And then when I had another look around Ellis Clark stand, when you could actually get to it, he'd got a couple of these, and I sort of had a quick rummage, and then there was 5 of them, so it had to be done at £5 each. So we've got quite a few MGRs now. And I picked up a little Burco, the pre-made sign signal, and that was £5. And some cheapies, £3 for 3 HO boxcars, minus the wheel sets, but I do have a pack of imported ones. So hopefully if they've all got the floors, I can get those fixed and running. But that was it for round 1 today. Obviously, met Charlie Chadwick, Mr. Bishop. He's down there. Steve from Railway Laser Lines. He's told me not to buy his engine shed, not the new one, but the free road one, because there might be an improvement coming on, but not till next year. Hello, hi. So, yeah, so I had a wander around, had a chill out in the VIP section when you could find where it was. I went in this morning, we had a queue for prepaid from the entrance all the way to the back of the hotel. I joined it right by my car because I'm parked in the first bay and the disabled bay. And I said to a guy, I said, is this the queue for the prepaid early entry? And he said, well, I've got one. Some of them hadn't. And then they were sort of like, well, by the time we get in anyway. And I'm like, oh well. And then one of the security guys came down and said, has anyone got VIP passes? Yeah. So we got in. But I never got me little ID strap. They just scanned my ticket and I went in. But yeah, apparently the girls who was handing out pamphlets said they'd sold 4,500 tickets online. I think they shut the online down early. It was quite busy, sort of a couple of hours in. I mean, there was massive queue. I think the Milton Keynes Bowl, they ran out of space. I think the bus broke down that was ferrying people in because the car park shut from 11 because there was a football match on as well. But yeah, they all seemed to came in. There was plenty of people there. Obviously, it was 3 deep at the making tracks 1, 2, and 3 joined together. I went to the far end and done a quick pan shot, and that weren't until this evening that you could get to it. But by which time I've got a walking stick in one hand and 3 heavy bags in the other, so you can't really hold a camera. So there's pretty much zero content filmed, but I'm sure everyone else will have some. I think Timber Surfer's going around tomorrow doing a bit of filming. I think Al's had a word with one of the guys he knows on the making tracks to get his little camera, cube camera on the track. So, and a Roberts train set. There's a train shed. Met him as well today, and John from Piccadilly, and obviously there'll be a load more tomorrow. Yeah, we've got a few things. Hi, just. Few more wagons. And Pectin Day, I think it is. It must be a Welsh loco, I suppose, for hauling the oil from the Welsh yards across to the north. I think they used to pull the oil tankers. So, yeah, I don't know. I think most of the traders have done well. I think there was a lot of people come because obviously they've missed previous years. Some of them have sort of sold quite a bit of their stock. G'day, Anthony, or good evening. So I hope they've got reserve stock for Sunday. But again, you sort of have a quick go around and hope for the best, really. But yeah, I was surprised there were some cheapy-ish items, and then again, it's how much you asking on other stalls. But that's the way of the world. Let's have my scanner off. I took my scanner with me. See if there was anything interesting, because everything's gone digital now. There's really not a lot. Just apart from many strange buzzers, pops, and farts, and not a lot of analog now. So they're not a lot of use. So I thought I'd have a quick pop-up cast, because if I go downstairs, I'll end up chatting to someone, and the time I come back, that'll be too late. I was going to do one last night, but I didn't in the end. I think I'm on a USB camera instead of the one built into the laptop because it's crap, and the audio on this is diabolical. It sounds like a Fisher-Price speaker. I think I've got an elephant next door to me. With Dutch clogs on by the sounds of it, or they're throwing them against the wall. I think they dropped a suitcase last night about midnight. So how are you feeling now, Anthony? Are you post-COVID now? Are you coming tomorrow, Tom? Or I know you're coming, aren't you, Andy? Yeah. Well, I did get a chance to see Julian today and have a chat with him from New Zealand because I did win one of his comps, so it helped towards my class 59. So I did manage to catch him and Paul. I think they're here again tomorrow as well. But Lord Al in the house. I've just put your lavvy away. I've got a Jenny Kirk badge as well. What time's the bar open, Al? I started early. Yeah, I should be here tomorrow till about 3. My parking is paid up till 20 past, so you have to check out the hotel by midday. So I'll probably come away and pack up and check my stuff in the van, and sort of stay till about 3 because it's about a 2-hour drive for me to get home. Yeah, has the football crowd all gone? Do you know? No. Yeah. No, I sort of pre-booked this one, Tom, because I was going to come last year, and sort of I thought it was a little bit of a drive for me, and I was going to go down by train, but when I looked at the prices of the train, and then you got to come across London and go back up, and then do it all again on the way back, it was about £125 in rail tickets, and I filled my van up, which cost me nearly 90 quid, but I've drove here, which was just under 100, about 90 miles, and I'm just on 3/4 of a tank. So I've only used a quarter of a tank, probably 2 or 3 gallon. The time I go home, it's going to cost me, 25, 30 quid in diesel versus 100 or God knows what. And then you're in whether some guy from Scotland come down, his Avanti train was cancelled, and then they rescheduled it minutes before, so he managed to come down. Then he's had to change trains to get back, and that's cost him another 70 quid. Yeah. There was 2 or 3 guys over from Ireland, plus obviously Mark's here as well, Donegal. A couple of Americans have come over. Graham's mate from the States. He's here again tomorrow, Graham Folston. So I had a quick natter with him, but hey, train man, we got some trains. Well, a train at the minute. You never know by tomorrow. I did see a nice northeastern, but I think it's one I'm not already in. But you never know. End of show bargains. Al's got to go. He's getting ready for his drinking competition with Tony Northeastern. That's what it is. Hello, Francis. Yeah, it was, Andy. It did get quite busy. Sort of 2-3 hours in. I mean, I feel sorry for the people. Well, hats off to them, the people in wheelchairs who were like self-propelled or being pushed. Because obviously, my missus in a wheelchair, and I know what it's just not a pleasant thing to do. Either that, or I'm just not as patient. But yeah, hats off to them to be able to do it, because I'm quite often put off because it's so difficult getting around and getting to things when people see this high. So if you're in a chair, you're invisible until they smack you in the face with a bang, or you get someone's sweaty ass in your face. But yeah, they were there, and I thought, I wouldn't have done. But yeah. And there's lifts everywhere, so you can get up, but there's not a lot of room on the balconies. There's quite a few traders on the balconies. Some of them are sort of a bit more fringe railway. There's a couple of art photography ones. Some they're doing like tea towels, but railway themed ones. A couple are doing like prints. Some of them were quite nice, but they quite nice price as well. And a guy who does totems, and you can have a personalised totem, but I think they were about £70-80, and they're at metal. I think obviously a laser cut totem, and then he vinyl prints your artwork or whatever you station and just sticks it over the top. So, but yeah, I shan't be having a Newlyn totem. I have got a guy who does them on eBay, not just the normal BR type sign, which I was going to get them, but I never did get around to doing it. But yeah, excuse me. We pressed the top into service, although with me bag on, you can't see it all. But I think I got seen by a few people in a bright blue top. Not a lot. There's some 187 die cast knocking about. Cars, the Oxford variant. But like Märklin stuff, I didn't really notice a huge. I mean, I wasn't looking for it, but like I managed to pick up those cheapo wheel truckless HO, obviously American, but there was a guy who has got some Continental stuff in the mid. As you walk in the main bit, he's towards the right hand side, second row, I think. Can't remember the company name, who had some European stuff. And I did find your truck. AliExpress. There was one seller, £8.84, but he'd out of stock. But there was another guy or another company doing it for £13 over there. Let's have a look. I did find something else for Dino because I photographed the page. Can't remember what the bloody hell it was, but right, that's my RAC. Buildings, if you're after any buildings, Dino, there's a guy I've bought some stuff off. Mr. Gordon's 1203. He's got a load of Kibri bits on at the minute. That might have been one of the tips. I think that's it. That was my out of focus. It doesn't like doing it. That's the Pete Waterman. The thing that gets you with it, because they've joined three together, is even a full rake, an 8-carriage train or whatever they are with the power car, looks small because of the length of the layout, and you see it trundle past and go off into the distance, and then you look a bit further and it goes off even further and then goes through the bridge scene and then out of shot because it's beyond the bridge and you can't see it. So it gives you an idea of the scale of the layout. But good luck getting to it unless you're very patient, which I'm not. And I can take it or leave it, to be honest with you. It's because it's a bit like my countryside, it's flat, and the model is, not got a lot of terrain to it. It's got 2 levels, obviously, to make it work, but the scenery that I like, the best bit to me is the little corner piece they've made on the new extension because it's more scenic. But you think of the amount of work they've done for all the catenary wire on that length. The guy who was doing it, I did see on Dave Fenton Megapoints. He's been doing the videos, hasn't he? But soldering all the wires for the catenary wire, bloody hell. Bye, Digger. But yeah, if you want any cheap 187 die-cast or cheap pair, there is a few bits on AliExpress. It's a bit of a rat hole because you'll find something. It's a bit like eBay where you get competitors' adverts on, but you get loads, and then you keep clicking and clicking and clicking, and increasingly you find it cheaper or dearer. But the other thing, I've got the AliExpress app on the phone. If you see something, load the app and you take a photograph of it, and it then searches. Amazon do it as well, but theirs is crap. And you can find a lot. That's what I do a lot of the time. Oh yeah, how much? Yeah, I'll order one of them. Yeah, I photographed your post, and that's exactly what I done. And I found the same vehicle from another Chinese seller, £8.34, and that was, I think, free postage as well. But he was out of stock, probably because the other guys sell all these stock. But the next nearest one was like £13.84, so with your VAT, it's going to be £15, and I think that was free postage. But then, conversely, you can keep looking at the ads, and you'll find another person that's selling the same one for 30 and 40. We have to be careful of the scales because it's a bit like some of the Oxford stuff. They do it in larger scales, so you've got to be careful you don't buy a 150 scale and not 187. But I've bought some of the Kadewai, I think, probably not the right pronunciation, the crane and an excavator, which I think Goodwood Scenics charged 30 quid for, and it's £16 shipped with the VAT. So needless to say, I didn't buy it from Goodwood Scenics. I can't remember what the guy's name is. He makes trees. They are the Dogs Danglies. I mean, the biggest ones are £20-30, but they're as good as the ones you see on Boomer dioramas. I did have a look at some of the medium-sized trees. They're about £11 each. But obviously, depending on your layout, if you have one as a feature tree in a little park or something, then you can probably justify a £20 spend because they are good. There's another, I think WWS have got some as well that they're selling in a little 3D laser printed plywood box, which obviously you're paying for the box on top of the tree that you're going to take out and put on a model. So the box is what you're going to use the box for. I've got some, they might be here today. I've had a post. They were tree armatures that they look to be covered in either a latex rubber or something, or maybe plaster, and it'll all be in the bottom of the bag when I get them. I was going to order some bits off this. It's one of the ones I've used on China websites before for cheapo plastic tree armatures, and they've done some wire ones, but these are actually coated. They're a bit of a funny colour. Well, they are to me. But obviously you can spray them before you flop them, and I presume they are just a wire thing, and they've dipped them in latex rubber or something. But they done 3 different size trees. You buy the selling lot is 2 a pair on each. And I'll just see if I can find them. I'll get me a count up. down the bottom there because I bought a load of brewing stuff. I'm probably not seeing it very well because the camera's not focusing on them. They do, where are we? A 10 centimetre trunk is £2.76 for two. You've got a 14 centimetre trunk, again it's two pieces, they're £3.45. Or a 22 centimetre trunk, again it's a pair, £6.22, £2.53 postage. Then you got your VAT on. Unfortunately, probably can't see them very well. It doesn't like focusing on another picture. But they are coated in something. So they do have like a bark effect rather than, but they're wire ones where they twist like you can make. There is another seller on here that does like the galvanized wire. You just buy the armature and then have to reshape it when you get it. But they're probably cost effective if you want a few for a park or a manor house. But if you wanted to like do a village forest or something, then that would start working out cheaper. Obviously buy the wire and wind up and make your own. If you're after the trees, there's only one seller does them. I'll get it all bunged up. Oh, what is he? I think it's something fun. I bought some stuff off him. Fun Trying, or two words, Fun Trying Official Store, who does the trees. And they are the only one that do them. There's not a competing seller. But they do a lot of flocks as well, so you could make your order up. But I mean, you still pay the postage, but you get a discount on multiple purchases. I've had some flocks off him. You certainly get more than you do with a Javis pack. I think they've got a stand at Getz today. I did notice there. I didn't go over and have a look. They're around the back. They're sort of spread out in another little separate room. There's WWS and a couple of layouts, Shed Ring Hobbies, which reminds me I've got to look on my eBay because I'm watching some of his stuff. So if he's got it, that'll save me the postage. Catch up with the chat. I haven't tried any Andy. There was a guy with a burger van there today, but whether that was incidental because there was a football match on, but I think there was something in the paraphernalia that there was food. There is some inside. I think they sold out today because I saw a few people wandering around with pre-packed, babs and things. Unless they've been over to Erasmus, because that's literally just over the other side of the car park, so you can go and grab yourself some pre-packed and have a munch when you can find some seating areas. But there's the VIP bit is free coffee and you can sit there and eat. But they haven't posted the VIP area is the same area as the trade rest area. But there's signs up saying trade rest area, but it doesn't say the VIP. It was only because I'd seen it on the map. I hadn't sort of located myself on that because it's behind the corridors in the back bit. But I sort of had a word with Brian from Finneton, and he said, "Oh no, it's down through the double doors." So I went down there, and him and Timber Surf were down there anyway. But I had another chat with another guy who started YouTubing and does follow me, but I can't remember what he said. His name was Matt. So if you're there, hello. But yeah, it's been quite good. It's, I suppose, more trade show than railway layouts, although obviously there are some quite good ones there. I didn't really have much time today to look at the layouts. I'll do that more tomorrow because I'm not sort of carting bags around. Yeah, Tim brought his packed lunch. He sat there and a little fold out aluminium with his sandwiches wrapped up, ready. He's an old hand at shows, isn't he? So I'd this is my first big one. I went to the Spalding one last year, which was a bit of a dad's army affair to start with, and everyone struggles as a retailer there because they've got them little credit card machines, and you can't get a mobile phone signal. But at this place, obviously, they're more geared up for it, and the traders have got the in-house Wi-Fi like you have with a hotel, which is what I'm using at the minute. Hello, Goblin. Are you down tomorrow to get, or are you too far for you? Anorax Anonymous, I don't think they're here. Elaine's Trains is, because I thought I'll have a look at Anorax, but let's have a look. We've got DC Kits, Locomotion Models, 10 Commandments, the Transport Treasury, don't know who they are, DCC Concepts, Tony's Trains, Loughborough Model Centre. I didn't see his sign, but I presume he's there because there's no gaps. Staple and Ash, Gordon's Lane, the Live Steam Roadshow. Didn't see a lot of it. It could be one of the shows layouts that's in between. Spirit of Shat, Akira Scale, Thorn Yard, Ellis Clark Trains, which is where I bought the MGRs from. Kerno Model Rail Centre. Buntisland, 1883, DC Train Automations, EKM Exhibitions. They're another one that does the cheap stuff. I'll have to have a look. KMS Rail Tech, Revolution Trains, Hornby Stand, Cheltenham Model Centre, Hornby Hobbies, H&A Models, AGR Model Railways, Making Tracks 3 is obviously down one row, is the whole row. TMC, West Hill Wagon Works, Elaine Trains, Digi Trains, Aspire Gifts and Models, Cavalex, James Street, Hobby Tools for You, Layouts for You. I've got to see him more because he's local to me. Ranley Bridge, Warwood, Hattons. They look like they didn't actually have it. I didn't really pay much attention to them because I'm sort of in a love-hate relationship with them most of the time. Primo Models. Bar 3, what was it? Junction Box, Taffloth Bridge, Warworld Scenic, Shedring Hobbies, Northumbrian Painting Services, Kites Lights, CL Fine Scale, KR Models, Kinloch, Scarlington, Balcony 1. No, Anorax are not there because they wouldn't be on the balconies because they're too big, aren't they? Isinglass Models is up there, Train Sporters, Ron Connor Signs, Wagon Yard, Saddle Tanks. There's some of the smaller exhibition layouts are on the balconies. Lockdown Sidings, St Paddy, Dogger, Five Elms, Polycombe Regis, Ford Hill Railway, Lemnis Light Railway, Rosebery Goods, the Railway Philiatic Society, just trains on stamps. Midland Railway Society, Elcutt Creative. I had a natter with him because obviously I sort of said, well, your stuff's all like North England, Yorkshire, Lancashire, big stone warehouses. Are you going to do more of your range with brick? Because like everywhere else in the country further south, obviously relied on brick and not natural stone. Which he said he is going to expand the range, but because it takes longer to laser cut them, there'll be more money, which is something I don't like to hear, because they're not the cheapest laser kits anyway. They are nice, but yeah, they're sort of like a Christmas treat, birthday treat money. Don Bishop, I think that's a photography. Lampman Design. On the Rails, Glow Force, that's just magnifying lamps and LED lights for working on the models. which I've seen something similar to that. And then again, if you use a certain photographic app, you can find the same products at considerably cheaper prices, or similar products. UK departure boards. I didn't get a chance to have a look. I've missed that one. I did see it there because he does the digital boards, which obviously ain't going to be cheap, but I suppose they're nice to look at. Unless you're really good at Arduinos and LEDs and stuff, you can obviously do your own. Demonstration by Malcolm Biggs. There's a guy there, it might be him. He does the layout designs for Model Rail. He's now left and got contract work with Hornby Magazine doing basically the same thing. So he's doing like a little rail design clinic. You can book a half-hour slot with him, I think, which Brian's doing tomorrow. Dan Everson's at the Tunnel Lane Models. I think he's stuck on his on his own, being a one-man band. Dyford on Lamps. He's Welsh. That's obviously a layout, I guess. Lockwood Street, St John's, New Dalby, White Meadow Quarry. I think they're on YouTube, so Timson. I've never heard of them. And Byway MPD. So I think everyone that was planning on being there is there. But again, I thought Anorak would be going to a big show like that, but obviously not. Because I think, are they in Essex or somewhere? Because they have their web page, but they're not like Elaine's Trains where you can buy stock and have it shipped or pick it up from a show. They're just a web page, and not actually an ability to purchase stuff online, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought they was going to be one of the sort of better priced resellers. But yeah, I thought there might be sort of more technology and electronics sort of things. I mean, obviously you've got like the DCC stuff, which is expensive, and then the more DCC stuff, even more expensive, like Mr. Chadwick has on Chadwick Model Railway, which obviously isn't in my budgetary plans. I need the Paul Man's version. And obviously I don't code or anything like that, so anything I do with Arduinos has got to be off copy and pasting and adaptions. But yeah, there's I think TMC, they've got a lot of stock of the NCE power cabs. I did see, I can't remember the name of the shop, it was a little second-hand type one, new and out used. It got a Gauge Master Prodigy 2 in the box. I don't know whether it was new or whether it was second hand. Guess what the price was? Bear in mind that Hattons are now asking £300 for a second hand one. I don't know whether there was something else in the box like the Wi-Fi unit. I didn't, because I was like, oh, 410 quid. I want them to come and install it and run it for me for that price. I think I paid $270 for mine 2 years ago off of Hattons for a new Gauge Master Prodigy, and they're asking. There's been a couple pop up on the pre-owned, and they're over £300. And I don't quite know where they get £300 for a second-hand system when you can buy an NCE power cab. I think for 189 they had them. I'm pretty sure that's what the price was. The only reason I didn't go for an NCE power cab was because there wasn't a lot of options during you know what, because everyone had gone DCC because they'd all decided to start building loft layouts while they were off work. And I went for the Gauge Master because the rectifier is obviously in a separate box and it's a slightly higher ampage than the NCE power cab is. And when I sort of looked at people's comments and reviews on the systems, the NCE can get a bit warm because you obviously got everything in that handset doing a whole lot, whereas with the Gauge Master MRC unit, you've got the box doing all the rectification. And obviously if the NCE has a fault, the entire unit's knackered. Where if it's the Gauge Master one and you drop the handset, and you've just got to buy a handset, and you're back up and running again. Although that's not bloody cheap, but. Hello, Hereford. Is it a new one? Hereford Martin. Smallwood, are you back in the hotel? Yeah, I did look at that. What was it? Is it the Digitrax, the little one with the little rotary control? That sort of appealed to me to start with, but I know it was a bit more limited than some of the other systems. I mean, I started off with the cheapo Hornby thing, the old version, which couldn't do CV settings on it, and you only had 9 or 10 function options. Then I went for the Hornby E Railmaster, is it the E-Link thing? And quickly found that had some limitations with compatibility with certain chips that I mean, I only had 2 DCC locos at the time. But I knew I was going to get more, and then you end up having to change systems because that doesn't work. So I bit the bullet and yeah, we had quite a. It's worth coming, Lee. You know, even if it's just for the day, or you get one of the sort of travel lodges a couple of miles up the road for the weekend. You know, a lot of the people I've watched since I've got into the railway side of YouTubing, I sort of had a chance to meet. You know, like John Warner, Paul from Sandland Junction. Charlie made a quick appearance and disappeared. I don't know whether he won the YouTuber World or whatever, or whether that's tomorrow. It's not bad, Andy. The wardrobe doors are open, but the toilet's behind that, and you know they're not too generous with the amount of sachets of coffee. 2 decaf, which they went in the suitcase for the missus, and she's on that, but I will not drink decaf coffee. It's a bit like alcohol-free beer, isn't it? And that's not alcohol-free. The pillows are crap, I will say that. They're heavy and quite sort of. And then as soon as you put your head on them, they're like a balloon with a leak. You just go down to nothing. I tried to lean, up on the bed to watch a bit of telly last night, and I had all 4 pillows, and I was just going. So yeah, and that's a sprung mattress that's probably seen a bit of service. The room did smell in the toilet of cigarette, vaguely. Being an ex-smoker, you can find it at 100 yards. So I did mention it today in the reception because I didn't want any nasty charges being levied for cleaning the room because of cigarette smoke. There is a sign up, so obviously people do try to have a crafty in the toilet, cut the extract fan. Well, last night, absolutely pissed down. I went literally across the car park. Literally, you could throw a tennis ball and hit the building, I would say, to Marks and Spencer's, and then across the Superdrug just to get some coffee sachets, which they didn't have, so I had to come back out, and I was drenched. It got through my jacket, my shoes. I walked back, and the way they've designed the car park at the top here in the junction, it all slopes down. So all the water off the paved area in the road all congregates, goes down the curb edging, and guess where it comes? Straight into the car park. as I walked back, they got the drainage channels. They was under about 6 inches of water, and I just sort of stepped over, but went short and soaked the new trainers. And sort of sat down in the bar drying out. I put the electric towel rail in the bathroom, so I hung my jacket on that, but it didn't dry it out. Yeah, the room's not bad. It's a good size. It's bigger than sort of other places I've seen and been into. I've not really had much adventures on my own. I don't know who won the football match. I don't know who they were playing. Not particularly bothered, but not being a football enthusiast myself. Lost my eBay page. The one thing I did get, well, not caught, I didn't read the small print didn't appear, was the parking is an additional charge, is not included in the hotel fees because the car park's owned and managed by MK1 Parking, so it cost £8 a day to park, which they've got you by the short and curlies, haven't they? Because you've not really got anywhere else to do. Hereford, what size will your layout be when it's done? I'm hoping that I can get away with pushing it to 30 feet. Somewhere between 25 and 30 is the target, and I'm probably around about 12 foot, but that will probably be the external part of the building, so it'll be 11.5 internal. And probably on 3.5 levels. So I can maximise the track usage and the way I'm doing the layout with an American level and an English level. That's the plan anyway. Oh Christ, I shan't be bidding on them. 3 Mark 2D air fixes, £45. No, that's only because one of them's got the second class. There's a first class, a second, and a brake. And you can, I was going to £51 now with 2 minutes remaining. It's because there's the elusive second class coach. You can tell the second class because obviously it hasn't got the coloured rail. It's also got 8 windows, but they are rocking horse studio to get an airfix one. You can pick a Dapol one or a Hornby, which I think I have got some in my trunk with hands, I think, or they came in my last lot. Because the airfix Mark II is just about the same bloody one anyway. But they are rocking horse doodly doo-doos. And obviously, with it being eBay, people have got more money than sense and pay more if they need to. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what my depth will be because it depends. It's a bit difficult to try and explain it, but if you imagine a rectangle, possibly from one end 4 foot in, and then my door will be there. So behind that 4 foot area, I'm going to have my work tables or table bench. That will leave me 4 foot-ish, which is possibly where the bigger sort of diagonal piece would come out for a helix. And then obviously from that, you're going to have 27 feet, 25 foot run down, then across and back up with a reversing loop and back down. But they're the sort of initial plans because I haven't really got anything to a track plan I've got ideas of little pieces and scenics, but how deep it will be, because obviously you get your corner pieces coming in. If you're doing a 4-foot scenic board, you cannot reach the corner. I had that with my old layout, with it being an L shape and a 10x8 shed, that you'd got to stand on a little stool to get to the back, and the run just didn't give you enough incline to get a train up, and it was so small. Two little triangle carriages on a steamer would barely get up the incline, literally round and back on a shuttle, which is what I was going to do, and then come back round. But yeah, hopefully this one will be a bit bigger, so it'll be half the length of making tracks if I can do 30. I don't think I'll get away with 30, but I think it'll be probably about 27 is the most I'll be able to push it to. The neighbour's not bothered, because I obviously want to do a pitched roof, which technically it should be a flat roof to be within building regs. But I want a pitched roof so I can put a loft hatch in and put all of the boxes up in the loft in crates, so that should I ever sell anything, or the whole lot goes at some stage, everything's up in the loft and be pulled down and matched with whatever item was in it. So the floor space won't have loads of boxes with all, items of boxes for boxes on the floor in the way. So hopefully it would be up in the loft, which technically I shouldn't have, but my neighbour's not bothered. When he bought the house, there was a big pigeon loft there anyway, which he knocked down. So I did say, well, leave it up and I'll extend my garden to yours, and I'll just use the pigeon lofts for the railway line. Well, they were a bit manky. I did see a couple of the other guys, Gary. I can't think of his name now. He's a Liverpudlian with ginger hair. Him, and there's another fella. I've watched their channels, but I knew the faces. Oh yeah, yeah, but you don't know them all. I'm sure they've probably never seen me, so. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Dino, if you're still watching at this moment. It's quite busy, Gary. It got heaving at one stage. I was out of the way. I went up on the balcony, but there's not a lot of room on the balcony. They have crammed a lot of the more smaller stall holders up. And then I've got the VIP ticket for the weekend, so you could bugger off in like a chill out area, and just wait an hour or so for the crowd to thin out, because it is one of those things. Obviously, you're either going to find something you look for at a price you're prepared, or you're not, and you don't always find it first time round, because I've been round a couple of the stores. I went round Alice Clark's and you couldn't really get there. Everyone was sort of crammed in. I looked at one end and sort of off, and then sort of like this afternoon I went round and saw the MGRs, so that had to be done. So, £5 each, which I definitely wasn't expecting at a big show. Didn't see any rail freight HEAs though, but I did get plenty more MGRs. I picked another 3 up off another stall holder. So and a Berco signal for £5, which is the assembled one, which again is not a bad price. It's only a 2 aspect. There weren't many 3 and 4s about on anything. It's some old. I've never seen them before. They had a wire-made basket, but they looked DIY, but the baskets didn't. So whether they was hashed together by someone, but they were all sort of 2 aspect, and then there were some with a dual twin heads, which I can't foresee a use. I have got some that I bought in a job lot, so I've got them if I need them, so I don't really need to buy a pack of 5 more for 20 quid and then not use them. I'm surprised Gauge Master wasn't there. You know, it's one of the big, because obviously there's not just Gauge Master, is it? They've got Train Tech and a few other bits under their wing, but they weren't there. There's no Gauge Master presence, unless they don't do shows. I don't know. We could have gone and seen a football match as well, because there was one on, Anthony. But I'll say I've zero interest. I don't know who they played. Obviously, one side was MK Dons, but I was quite surprised because I was walking back right by the arena, going back to the hotel, and someone obviously scored a goal, or nearly did, because you could hear the crowd. But the way the dome is designed, it rarely holds the sound in. So, you know, if you're a mile up the road, you're probably not going to hear much. You could hear the sort of like the drum beats or whatever they were doing. But apparently someone was saying if you've got a hotel room facing in, they've got security guards making sure you're not streaming the match. So a woman last night was on about it. I thought, well, no fair of that with me. 2-2. Well, it seemed to be. I mean, there were security guards there, you know, by all the exits. They'd opened them up as I walked back, but I haven't seen, you know, a myriad of coaches, unless they are probably over the other side, where the KFC and the McDonald's are. Not a lot of traffic, because I thought, oh, I'll leave it because they're all going to come out and going to want to take away or something, and you're not going to be able to move, so I'll leave it a while before I go on the hunt and grab a bite to eat, which I shall do shortly, and then nip in the bar and see who's about. But obviously, being a hotel bar, it's not cheap. Should have one of those little bladders so you can keep filling your mug up down. Take the glass, going back to it takes. I filmed going from the lift to my room for my missus. The video's 1 minute 14 seconds long. I'm not the fastest walker in the world now, but and I did have to stop because the door's shut when you have to use your RF key card to open one of the fire doors. But yeah, it gives you an idea how far I've got to walk round to the corner of the building to get back to my room, so I can't keep nipping off and sneaking a few refills. But if I come next year, I'll know. I might buy one of them things and have a pipe down my sleeves on top of it. I'll bring me still and knock up a few bit of moonshine. Yeah, I'm a sort of respondent at Hereford with these incline and the drop-in system for different areas on one layout. So that's my idea, is to sort of take the the American idea of multi-deck layout and have each one as a different period of time. Or in my case, one will be American-esque. Because obviously the UK stuff will have to run through it as well, from the storage area through an American scene and then into the UK scene. But obviously you imagine that bit's off scene as it would be in It's just giving you more run length, so I can route. My plan is to obviously be able to do it so that you could route the train off and it will go through the top level, which would be, 30s, 40s, just to give it some run length, and it's gone and it comes back. And vice versa. Obviously, the steamers are going to struggle on a helix, so they'll probably spend most of their time in the upper level. But obviously, they'll go down. But I don't know whether they'll go up. It depends on how low I can get with the helix. Because the other thing is obviously running American stock. I've got auto racks, which are the tallest thing next to intermodals with 2 containers. So that limits the distance between each loop. But I've got to cross that bridge when I get to it and then sort of decide what ideas I have and whether they'll work in reality, which I was talking to someone today sort of about the software, planning software, because I've got absolutely no idea on any format of CAD. Or much in the way of computer programming, be it track planning or Tinkercad and stuff like that for doing 3D. I'm much more of a person that I can visualize it in physical reality, where I'll stick 4 lengths of track together and measure it and put it there and say, yeah, that'll work. I can give myself another 4 inches aboard for scenery or a crash area. And sort of have a layout coming round, till I sort of get there and decide. Because there's obviously I've got little bits and pieces to put on the wall, bits of railway ania, so there's no point in. I've got a level there, and then I can't put the photographs up and the signs and bits and pieces. So I want to obviously allow enough room for a little bit. I've got a semaphore arm, 2 LED intertrain lamps, and old paraffin one, Bardic lamps and stuff. I want to do a little feature of sort of railway-esque ania stuff. And I've got 2 wall-mounted display units. So I'm thinking sort of like halfway down, you'll have a panelled off bit, which will help with the support of the decks and allow for a scenic break area where you could have a tunnel one side and a magnet the other, or a raised deck area, and it would also come out and allow me to put one of the cabinets on that. I know some of the American guys do that for the same reason, to give you sort of a scenic support and a break, so that you can go from one scene through an opening and then something else on the other side. See you, hi. And so I might do that. It really depends, because then when you sort of stick a board in the room and think, oh Christ, that's going to take too much room, scrap that plan. So yeah, until I've got a shell, the only thing that sort of determines is where a door goes, because obviously I've got to make my mind up with that. I'm probably not going to have a window, or if it is, it will be on the workbench side. One side's going to be fence between me and my neighbours. There's no point in having the window there. The only place a window can go is facing into the side of the garden, and obviously if it goes the long side, that limits where you can put a layout, so it would have to go one side of the door. I like to visualize things, and even if it's a bit of rope or a tape measure, rather than look at it on the computer screen, even if it is accurate, it still doesn't always quite go the way the computer plans it in reality. But yeah, I saw, if you watch Sparky, it will be sort of, it's not as big as his room, because he's obviously got that piece that comes out where he sits with his desk. But what if you imagine sort of a helix at 90 degrees and then go around and down? I don't think I'm going to have enough room for an oval helix like his one. Is quite a big size. I mean, most of us as kids started with a railway layout that was the size of his helix. Did you get much though, Mark? Because I sort of went round with Tim again and Brian and found some more stuff. So I ended up with 5 of those, plus the 3 I'd already bought earlier. If they're there and they're the right money, you got to buy it. I did even manage to get Tim to spend his money, much to his reluctance. I did ask the woman if I was going on commission, I could have a bit discount, but it didn't work. I've got the tap dancer back next door now. That or yeah, they're doing an X-rated movie. Probably, Martin. Yeah, I've got quite a few, but obviously, if you're doing a train loaded and a train coming back empty, and then various wagons in sidings at each process of being emptied or filled, I've got the coal mine, the Walters one, which I'm going to sort of. It'll be used for English and American scene, and I do quite like the Walters Power Station, but it's not cheap. But there was a woman today at the show. They're sort of showing how you can model various ideas with stuff you'd be throwing out. They were using like the Tesco's cardboard produce trays, and they had a cooling tower from a power station which was made out of 2 Wilkinson's flower pots. And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, it's not going to be OOHO scale cooling tower because you'd need 3 meters in height to do it to scale. But it was big enough to be believable. And I thought, and I've been sort of thinking, what the hell am I going to make it out of to get the right shape? Because you need something like 8, 10, 12 inch circumference at the base. And they'd used 2 flower pots and they'd just got some card lattice work for the triangular framing at the bottom. And I've got some stuff I bought from China, a bit like evergreen plastics. Yeah, I'll be interested in the right sort of money. I mean, I've just paid £5 each for these, so I'll give you a ballpark figure if they're the old ones. Yeah, buckets. She'd used flower pots, Wilkinson's one. I said, well, you'll have a job getting Wilkinson's ones now, but they had to use 2-part epoxy to glue them together. But I thought, I'll have to keep my eye out when I go around the range and B&Q and see if there's any suitable shaped flower pots to make that odd shape that cooling towers of. Because I said to her, I said, yeah, well, what I've got, I said, I've got a humidifier that will fit inside. Flip the switch and you get the steam coming out. Which she quite liked the idea of that. Yeah, no problem. You can always messages. It's newlinrailway@gmail.com. It's sort of the standard YouTube email, Gmail when you start. Or if you find me on Facebook, I have got a page, but I don't. Hi, Andy. Are you here today? Or are you tomorrow? Are you coming up? Or over? Or down? they're going to be on, I think it's the first balcony at 11 o'clock for the YouTubers meet and greet sort of thing. For most of the YouTubers anyway, there's some choosing not to come and meet. So are you going to plan for next year, Anthony, without any spanners being thrown in the works? I presume it'll be around about the same time period. I think they might check to see if there's not a football match next time. But bloody light shining right down there makes it all washed out. Turn the thing off, it'll be too dark. Like they've got random lights, LED things. The table light on the dresser is wide up to the main room lights. So you've only got the bed lights at the back. Talk amongst yourselves, if they can do. Did get that, the British Industrial Sands one. That's bloody hard to find they are now. You go on eBay, they're 3 to 4 times what I paid for that one. I was quite surprised it was that cheap. So the hand be snapped up. I can't remember any I got now, but they are probably the hardest one to get hold of. Let's see how much the fool's paid for that. £56 the coaches went for. Call it 59 with the postage. Mad. I've got no more goodie. I haven't bought anything this week. Been nothing on there to buy. Not that I want. I am sort of reaching that pinnacle of rolling stock acquisitions. No, nothing there till Wednesday. So yeah, I've got 3 more videos I think on YouTube ready to upload and one to edit. But yeah, not a lot inbound at the minute. I've got a railway, not laser lines, fair price models. I bought his. He hasn't done anything new for quite some time. He brought out like a shopping precinct twin unit, sort of 70s, 80s looking thing. So I bought that because he sent me a, special offer, private offer thing, about £1 cheaper than the RRP. So that should be here. I think it might be in today. She said I've got a parcel, so I know some Chinese stuff come in, but that's stainless steel for me brewing side of things. Hi, Randall. We did get some truckless HO bargains. 3 freight cars. I haven't opened the packaging, but I'm hoping they all got floors. Let's have a see if I can get into the damn thing. So bloody bunged up. I just took a ready tablet. I've got my knife with me, but I packed it away now. We can get into the package. Separately fitted ladders on this one. And no floor. Easy enough to make a bit of plastic card, I guess. Box car body. I don't know what the polystyrene's in it for. And another one. Bit of a theme here. I could possibly, I've got some older ones, the older style ones with the walkways on the roof. Something just fell off that. Probably with the bits of ladder broken off. I've got some HO wheel trucks. I can get one going. I might have to fabricate a couple of floors for those ones, or swap them out. I don't know what they are because none of them ever seem to own up to who made them. They look like the same bodies. And that one's got separately fitted ladder details on it. Looks like it's been resprayed by the looks of it. Can't quite see what it was. Vermont Railway. Well, it was before someone sprayed it anyway. A couple of the ladder. All 3 have broke off. Easy enough to repair them bits with a bit of brass wire. But they were £3. So what, $3.50? Not a lot. Mind you, there's not all of it there, so. Stick them back in the bag before I break any of the other bits off and lose them. So I mean, I've got one box car that's worth the purchase price, I guess. I've got a brand new set of wheel trucks at home. I got 10, I think, from China. was a good ratio according to my screen. I've got 14 in and 15 thumbs up, so that's quite a good percentage, isn't it? Not that it really does much, but thanks all the same. A bit of film on the floor here. Yeah, I've got a few Bachmann coaches, Martin. Not many. I've sort of bought some of the new ones when they're on offer at sort of £27, and I've picked some of the older Bachmann, which were basically the old mainline ones. When people haven't realised, or the trouble is, you get the old Bachmann stuff. People put it on eBay and say it's Bachmann, and people will pay more for it, not realising it's the older, inferior model. Ignorance is bliss sometimes for sellers, but yeah, I've got a few, but not many. Most of my rolling stock is the old Hornby stuff, just the blue and greys. Network Southeast stuff is predominantly Lima and a little bit of Bachmann when they're on offer. I did look at the Akera scale ones today, and they're very nice, but yeah, I can't justify one coach, let alone enough to build one or two rakes. But they do look nice. But everything at Akera scale looks nice. Sometimes I don't use enough glue, but yeah, I think the old ones I was going to bid on that went silly money. The old Airfix ones still take some beating if you can find them for the right price of sub £15. Because obviously Hornby still do them and Dapol did, and they've not made any changes other than the couplings. And then they tend to be £20 or £30. I mean, I've seen the Dapol ones, not the Airfix ones, for 20 and 30 quid, which is putting them at second-hand Bachmann prices or discounted new stuff. It's like there was one there today. I think it's the one I've already got, which was the rail maintenance yellow Bachmann BR, maintenance of way train coach at £24. And there's someone on eBay asking 54 quid for a used one, and you can buy a brand new one from TMC for 25 quid. No, I don't know. Well, doubtless there will be some people on YouTube with a rake full who can afford it, but I can't. I mean, I know some of the Bachmann ones are even more money than that, but why they sort of have a DCC chip in each one to turn the lights on and off is totally unnecessary. And for that money, why haven't they just done a conductive coupler so that one DCC chip will control the entire rake, which would have saved everyone money? But when you consider they're asking £80 for some of their stuff, and you could buy a premium coach for, say, well, obviously you pay £60, you can get one with lights in it. But if you buy one £30 or £40, you can put pickups in it and electrify it. And if you were so inclined, you could fit a function chip for the latest DCC ones are 12 quid. You can put a function chip in there and turn the lights on and off, because that's basically all it's going to do, for a lot less than 40 or 50 quid extra on top. of an already expensive coach. But I'm going to illuminate some of mine, but I don't think it's practical to do them all. I have got some of the Hornby Mark IIs, which have got the light rigs already in them, but then the rest are Airfix. And if it's practical, get either a pickup off the track or battery somewhere. I have bought various ones that will be put in rolling stock for lighting or flashing tail lights that I do. But it's all more time, which I can do that when the layout's done and do all the refinements. Okay, guys, I'm going to wind up, I think, and go and get something to eat for tea, as it's well past tea time normally, and see who's in the drinking establishment. Hi, Adam. You're just coming in as I'm now about to quit and go and get something to eat. Yeah, we'll have a bunch. I was going to do one last night, but I just didn't have time to do a cast last night. Just see what's like. I don't know whether I can do a live from my phone in the hall. You can't get to the balconies and look down because there's traders all along the side, so you can't shoot down into the main hall. Yeah, no problem, Martin. I shall be about from Monday if you want to email me or whatever. Once I get home, I shall probably be totally knackered. Because the one thing I forgot to bring with me is my painkillers. Never mind. I'm sure alcohol will subside. Right, okay, I will. Old Robert's now coming. He's got home. Yeah, likewise, Robert. And the many others we saw. I might, depending on how things go, I might pop back on later tonight because obviously, depending on how waylaid I get in downstairs, and I have got a few videos to catch up on my inbox thing. But, my stomach's grumbling now, so I've got to go and. Yeah, you missed the stream, Ben, and a good day today. There was, I think, 20 or 30 people turned up today, milling around, sort of talking to one another on the YouTube meet and greet sort of bit. Obviously, there'll be some more tomorrow as well, but yeah. Maybe next year, Ben, when you don't fall off a platform. So the ones that are there tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow, or I will see you again as from today. And obviously normal services will be resumed with Friday uploads, probably by next week. I did get a few more coal wagons, Ben, and I did get a petroleum sector class 47. Not that you can see it very well in the glare, but it's a sound fitted class 47, which I haven't seen a lot of them. I was after a 37, obviously, but I have got a lot of 37. Not as many as some people, but yeah, that's my first sound fit Bachmann. But yeah, it was average price, and then he knocked me another tenner off, so I wasn't going to complain. Yes, it is. Yeah. Which I presume is one of the ones from Wales that used to run the tankers. Yeah, I shall do a video. I have put a quick picture on my community post, but obviously they chop half of it out, but most of it is in there anyway. But obviously there might be some more things tomorrow, especially if they want to clear stock before they go. I mean, I'm going to be here till about 3, but I don't particularly fancy the £100 parking charge fee that they put on. So, and it's about a 2-hour drive for me to get back home. So yeah, I probably had one, but the other 47s I've got are obviously aftermarket TTS 47 sound. I don't think I've got any back from 47 sound fitted. I have just bought a chip from Road and Rails for a 37, the Hi-Fi ESU one. He was doing them for 99 quid, so I thought, I've got a few more that need sound. So I did purchase another one. I was going to get one of the Akira scale ones, but it looks like you can play around with more of the CV settings on this new ESU one, so that will probably go in one of my sector ones that I've got. So, right, I will cut the stream off as I'll start waffling on again and be another half an hour. Okay, guys, thanks for popping in. Catch you on the next one.